Hi, this is Algebra 1, Module 7, Lesson 13's practice problems. We are going to take these functions that are given to us for area and turn them into see if we can figure out their side lengths for it and set amount perimeter. You can think of it as different amounts of area you can close within a given amount of fencing as long as you always create a rectangular closure. So think of it as like length times width on these. All right. So A of 3. So if I start with A of 3, I'm saying 3 times 10 minus 3, which is 7. So that is 21. Here I'm saying 4 times 10 minus 4, which is 6, and that's 24. Here it's 6 times 10 minus 6, which is 4. That's 24. Now if I want my answer to equal 0, then if I want a to equal 0, x needs to be a 0, right? Because if x is a 0, the whole thing's 0. Or if this if this inside the parentheses equals 0, so 10 minus 10 would equal 0. Okay, when is a of x at its maximum? Explain or show how you know. Probably. Looks like with 4 and 6, it's pretty close. What if I put in a 5? 5 times 10 minus 5 is 5. 5 times 5 is 25. So if x equals 5, then a of 5 equals 25. And at both times otherwise, it's starting to get a little bit lower. So it's kind of that halfway point in there. Okay, here. A of 10. So I'm going to take 10 times 50 minus 10, which is 40, and that's 400. A of 20. Okay, so 20 times 50 minus 20 is 30. That's 600. If I do 50 minus 30, then, 30 times 50 minus 30 is 20, so that's still my 600 again. To get 0, x has to again be 0, but this time it would have to be 50, so that 50 minus 50 is 0. And is its maximum. Well, here I've got 600 on both of those. I'm going to guess half of 50, which is 25. When x equals 25, I'm doing 25 times 25, which 25 squared is 625. So then a of 25, remember what I'm writing here, equals 625. Maximum I can get. All right, try this again. A of 20. So I'm taking 20 times 75 minus 20 is 55, which is 1100. A of 35. So that's 35 times 75 minus 35 would be 40. That is actually 1400. A of 40, so I'm taking 40 times, well, minus 40 was 35. So again, I'm back to that 1400. I'm starting to see some patterns here. X equals has to be a 0, and then 75, right? Because if I'm subtracting, it gets me a 0. So what I've noticed on the others is if I take half of what my first number is, I need to do half of 75. And so then when I do, what is half of 75? 37.5. I end up getting an answer of 1406.25. So I get a little bit bigger space than my other ones. Okay, A of 10. 10 times 48 minus 10 is 38. That's 380 times 20. 20 times 48 minus 20 would be 28 equals 560. Oh, like that. 28 times 48 minus 28 is 20. Be that 560 again. My zeros, 0 and 48. Maximum, half of 48 is 24. So if I put in 24, then I get 576. Again, just a little bit higher. All right. It's always that square that makes it the best. All right, for each of the given quadratic equations, find the solutions using the most efficient method. Oh, excuse me. State the method you are using as well as the solutions. You must use at least 3 different methods. Okay, I hope I have room for all these. I might give myself some space at the top here. All right, so I'm going to start by looking at factoring just because if that one works, great. So my factors of 60, 1 and 60, 2 and 30, 3 and 20, 4 and 15, 5 and 12, 6 and 10. A lot of factors. All right, do any of those work with, let's see, it's a plus. So it'd be an x plus, because they're both pluses, x plus. So any of those add up to 17. Oh yeah, right there, 5 and 12. So 5 and 12. So this one we factored. So we have factoring, we have vertex form. That is really sloppy. So I'm just going to put x for factored. We factored. We have factored kind of the vertex form, the completing the square, or we have quadratic formula. So as long as I can use the factoring, I'm going to try that one first. So let's try this one, 39. So again, adding. So 1 and 39, 2, nope, there's no 2, but there is a 3. 3 and 13, 4, 5, 6, no, 7, 8, 9. Nope, I think that's it. So x plus, they're both adds, and 3 and 13, they make 16. Oh, you know what? We didn't actually put the answers. The solutions then with these guys, x equals -5 and -12, right? Because that's what makes those zeros. So that means x equals -3, -13. Just forgot that. Okay, here. So if I factor out 5s, 1 and 5, they need to subtract to get 7. That's not going to happen. Vertex form, I could do, but then I have to solve again. Let's just use I'm just going to use the quadratic formula on this guy, just because. It's already set up to equal 0. So I have negative b, so -7 plus or minus the square root of b squared, which is 49, minus 4 times a, which is 1 times -5, which is c, over 2 times a, which is 2. Okay, so -7 plus or minus the square root of 49 minus 20. So that would be 69 minus a -20, so I'm adding, divided by 2. I don't know as if I can do a whole lot more than that. 69 doesn't have any square roots in it, right? 3, 9, no. And 7 doesn't divide into 2. This is it. That's my shebang right there. -7 plus or minus square root of 69 divided by 2. All right, next row. Oh, and we used quadratic formula for that. This was a factory. All right, next row. 3x squared. Ugh, I don't want to worry about doing a vertex form with this. So let's use quadratic formula. So I'm probably going to want to need that space. Let's move that over. Okay, so negative b, negative 14 plus or minus the square root of, oh, what's 14 squared? Let me see. 196. 196 minus 4 times 3 times negative 5 all over 2 times 3, which is 6. All right, we might have to go down the line on here. So negative 14 plus or minus the square root 196. So let's see what 4 times 3 times 5 is. That's 60. So 196 minus a negative 60, 256. Now 256 actually has a square root. That is 16. So negative 14 plus or minus 16 divided by 6. I'm just going to keep going down and we'll put our answers up higher. So negative 14 plus 16 is 2. 2 divided by 6 would be 1/3. So let's do x equals 1/3. Now if I do negative 14 minus 16, then I get negative 30. Negative 30 divided by 6 is negative 5. So I know I'm using a lot of words and not as much writing. I don't have a ton of space. There we go. That one did come out. Don't think I would have factored though. All right. Well, we have used 2 factoring, 2 quadratic. We have to do a third one. So let's do 2 completing the square just because we can. All right. So I'm going to go ahead, x squared minus 12x. I'm going to do plus 8 because that's where it's supposed to be over here. So x squared minus 12x plus 8. So x squared minus 12 plus, so divide by 2 is negative 6 squared equals 36. So I need 36, but I need to go down to 8. So I need to subtract 28. So it's going to be x squared. No. X minus 6 squared minus 28. All right, so that has to equal 0. So x minus 6 squared equals 28 square root. X minus 6 equals plus or minus square root of 28 plus 6 plus 6. So I actually want to write 28. I can split up into square root of 4, which is 2. So let's do x equals 6 plus or minus 4. Wait, no, square root of 4, 2. Square root of 7, right? Because this is the same thing as square root of 4 times square root of 7 to square root of 7. All right, so this is my answer. So up here, 6 plus or minus the square root of x equals 6 plus or minus 2 square root of 7. Good thing we did vertex form on that. All right, last one, x squared plus 6x equals 7. X squared plus 6x equals, is it 7? So we need to do minus 7. Minus 7. Okay, so x squared plus 6x plus divided by 2 equals 3 squared equals 9. 9 down to that is a minus 16. All right. So x minus 3 squared, wait, plus, that's a positive, plus 3 squared minus 16. which means equals 16 if we add 16 to both sides. So square root of 16, well, that's a nice number. X plus 3 equals plus or minus 4. Minus 3, minus 3. So 4 minus 3 is 1. Negative 4 minus 3 is negative 7. So it's 1 and negative 7, right? Negative 3 plus 4. Yeah, it doesn't matter if we do each direction. All right. 1 and negative 7 equals 1, negative 7. That was vertex 1. All right, so summarize the process for solving a quadratic by the indicated strategy. Why would we want to use each one? Well, completing the square, basically just put it in vertex form and solve for and and just solve. It works best when A equals 1, I feel like. Oh, and then when B is even, because when you're dividing by 2, so we could have done it there, divide by 2. Oh, but A wasn't 1. About this one, oh, A was uneven, B was uneven, so that wouldn't have been great either. So yeah, that's really are the things that would help with that. Okay, so factoring. Best with an A equals 1, right? Because then we just worked about the two factors. Check that factors of C will work to make B. Add, subtract to make B. That's a little more specific. And the quadratic formula. Really, you can use it anytime. We can always say when others don't work as well. Or anytime because it works for all. All right, last ones. Graphing quadratics. Graph the quadratic function and supply the desired information about the graph. All right. If we're going to graph, so I'm going to put this into vertex form. So x squared plus 8x plus divided by 2 equals 4 squared, 16. So we are going to do x plus 4 squared minus 3, right? Yes. Okay, so that means my line of symmetry is x equals negative 4 because I'm going to have negative 4 comma negative 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. So there's my vertex. Y-intercept, if I put in a 0 for x, then 4 squared is 16 minus 3 is 13. So 0, 13. Vertex is negative 4, negative 3. I just better graph a couple of points here, huh? Let's do negative 3 is 1 squared, 1 minus 3 is negative 2. Negative 2. Let's see if we can get some x-intercepts. Negative 2 is 4. 4 minus 3 is 1. Okay. No nice x-intercepts, which means we're probably going to want to use that quadratic equation to figure this one out. So I'm going to do that off the side here. So negative b, negative 8, plus or minus square root of b squared, so that's 64, minus 4 times 1 times 13, right? Okay, so 4 times 13, divided by 2a, which is 2. Okay, so negative 8 plus or minus the square root. 4 times 13 is 52. So 64 minus 52 is 12 divided by 2. Well, if I simplify 12, I can do negative 8 plus or minus 2 square root of 3 divided by 2, which those would cancel. Negative 8 divided by 2 is negative 4. So my x-intercepts would be negative 4 plus or minus the square root of 3, it looks like, because then that would be negative 4. All right, got that one. Next one. X squared minus 4x minus 1. Okay, line of symmetry. So x squared minus 4x plus divided by 2 is negative 2 squared is 4. And I got to get down to a 1. So it's x minus 2 squared, 4 would be minus 5. Right? Yeah. All right. So my vertex is at 2, negative 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So my line of symmetry is at x equals 2. My y-intercept is 0 minus 2 is negative 2. 4. 4 minus 5 is negative 1. So 0, negative 1. And my vertex is 2, comma, negative 5. So let's see if our x-intercepts are nice ones. So if I put in a 3, 3 minus 2 is 1. 1 squared is 1. 1 minus 5 is negative 4. Put in a 3. 1, 2, 4. Put in a 4. 2 squared is 4. 4 minus 1 is 5. Or, sorry, 4 minus 5 is negative 1. If I put in a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 9 minus 5 is 4. All right, we have another set of ugly x-intercepts. Practice with our quadratic function, huh? All right, so negative b, that actually is a positive 4, plus or minus 4 squared is 16 minus 4 times a, which is 1, times c, which is a negative 1. So 16 plus 4 divided by 2. So 4 plus or minus square root of 20 over 2. And let's see, if we simplify 20, 20 is 4 times 5. So I can do 4 plus or minus 2 square root of 5 divided by 2. Then I end up with 2 plus or minus the square root of 5. There we go. Clean that up a little. 5. All right. Solve each system using an algebraic method. All right. Well, I see these both have 3's, x's, so I'm going to subtract. 5 minus a negative 2 is 7y's equals 15 minus 6 is 9. Divided by 7. Okay, so y equals 9/7. So if I plug in 9/7 in for y, let's see, 3x plus 5 times 9/7 equals 15. Oh, 45/7. 3x plus, I'm going to have to do some sort of decimal on here, aren't I? 45/7. Sevenths is an ugly one though. Equals 15. So if I subtract 45/7 minus 45/7, let's see, 15 minus 5/7, end up with 8 and 4/7. So 3x, actually I don't, 8 and 4/7, that'd be 56, 60, 67. Because if I divide by 3, that's times a 1/3. 60 divided by 3. I end up with x equals 20 over 7. Boy, that was an ugly one. All right, next one. We're going to put that one in green. Okay, they both have a y equals. So let's go ahead and do negative 7x plus 12 equals 5x minus 36. So I'm going to add 36 and then add 7x. Those cancel, those cancel. I'm left with 48 equals 12x. So x equals 4. This one's much nicer. All right, so y equals 5 times 4 minus 36. Well, 20 minus 36 is 16. Negative 16. All right. There we go. Next one. Hey, they're both a y equals again. Let's do it again. 2x plus 12 equals 10x minus x squared. Oh, an x squared. We got to get this in quadratic form. So, if I take away 2x's and take away 12, that gets this side a 0 equals negative x squared plus 8x minus 12. I'm going to have to use my quadratic formula for this one. So negative b, negative 8, oh, not sure what that was, negative 8 plus or minus the square root of 64, my 8 squared, minus 4 times negative 1 times negative 12 over negative 2, because 2 times a is negative. All right, so 64 minus 48, 16. So negative 8 plus or minus the square root of 16 divided by negative 2. The square root of 16 is 4. So negative 8 plus 4 divided by negative 2. And negative 8 minus 4 divided by negative 2. So I'm going to have a couple of answers on this one. All right. So that is negative 8 plus 4 is negative 4 divided by negative 2 is a positive 2. Negative 12 divided by negative 2 is a positive 6. So I actually have to solve this. So when x equals 2, y equals, and then when x equals, they say 6, 6, y equals. So when x equals 2, let's just go ahead and use the first one. 2 times 2 is 4. 4 plus 12 is 16. 2 times 6 is 12, plus 12 is 24. So I actually have 2 answers on this one. There are 2 solutions. Because it's the x squared, it probably goes like this and then crosses like that. So there ends up being 2 solutions. All right, last one. They both equals y equals, so let's do it again. 24x minus x squared equals 8x plus 48. Oh, we got another one of these. Okay, so let's minus 8x and minus 48. So negative x squared. 24 minus 8 is, it's not 12, that's too many. 16 plus 16x minus 48 equals 0. All right, same process we just did. Negative b, negative 16. What did I hit? Nope, here we go. Okay. Negative 16 plus or minus the square root of, what's 16 squared? 256 minus 4 times negative 1 is a, times negative 48 is c. So 48 times 4 divided by negative 2. So negative 16 plus or minus 256 minus 192, I believe. minus 192 is the square root of 64 divided by negative 2. Well, that is a nice number. So negative 16 plus 8 divided by negative 2, and negative 16 minus 8 divided by negative 2. Well, negative 16 plus 8 is negative 8 divided by negative 2 is a positive 4. Negative 16 minus 8 is negative 24 divided by 2 is positive 12. So x, let's go back up here a little bit. All right, we've got x equals 4, y equals something, x equals 12, y equals something. All right, so we'll just do the bottom one. 8 times 4 is 32, plus 48 is 80. And 12 times 8 is 96, plus 48 is 144. So these again are our two answers because we've probably got a parabola going like these and then crossing through. So we get two answers. All right. Thanks for joining us. And that is it for today.